Are you live or no?
We're live.
Oh, we are.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Blinks live stream. My name's John, and I'm the creator of Blinks.
I'm Jamie, player of Blinks.
And I already see Lee and Jonas in the comments, so awesome, welcome. Welcome back, better yet. I'm just setting up my phone for our top view. Let's see, there we go. Cool. There's lots going on right now in Blinkland, so I'll share some updates on that as well. And today, let me see if that works. We'll just check to make sure our top view works. It does not.
Is it on?
It is on. Let's see.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're rolling. So let me start with a couple of just general updates.
Mm-hmm.
You look really nice.
Do I? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, let's see. So, the updates I wanted to share was one of the things that we've been working really hard on is, I showed this before, that Blink's packaging used to look like this. Without the artwork will update a bit, but now the new Blink's packaging is reducing in size, making it much easier to ship all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But because we reduced the packaging to this size, it means our instruction manuals also need to be completely redone to fit. And so I'll just share real quickly. Inside of the box previously, you'd get this instruction booklet. And one of the pieces of feedback that we received from the first batch was, I really love the written instructions, but they're also a little bit large when I bring my Blinks everywhere with me. And so this is kind of a cool opportunity. We're going to make them half this size. And so this is not a proof by any means, but here's just a printout of how we're, relaying out the entire booklet. And there's a couple surprises for the booklet as well. I won't spoil them here, but both Dan and I are really excited about it. We were working through them late last night. Let's see. So that was some general updates. Also, something really nice is some of you have been waiting for your Blinks for quite some time, especially international orders, and a number of those are popping up, largely as systems are getting up and running because of the state of COVID. So. Hopefully we continue to see that, and if you're waiting patiently, thank you so much. And hey Ernie, hey bud, pet. So let's see. So for today's live stream, I figured what we're gonna do is today's our From the Forum day, and Ernie's excited about From the Forum. And so we're going to pick another game from the forum. I'm actually going to load that up live here. So let me switch to our scene. And you can see I've got my developer tool. And let me see. I think I also have, just going to open up Arduino. Hey, Karsten. Blinks arrived. All right, and they're awesome. Even better.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's one of the. It's the period of like, oh, just hang tight. They're gonna be great when you get there. When they get there,
Yeah.
So it makes me real happy. Hey, Javier. All right. I've already shortened your name. I think last time I went for the whole thing. I figure you can correct me if you prefer one or the other. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Arduino does not want to load for me right now. Oh. We might have to resort to playing something else because I think this might be a restart my machine moment.
Type of problem.
Yeah, let me try one more thing. Okay, it's off to a good start. Nope. Interesting. Okay. Well, it looks like my computer's being a little bit funny about loading Arduino this morning. So we're gonna play an existing game. All right. We got
Any votes?
lots of games. Oh yeah. Any votes for games we should play? We should also, let's see. Let's break out what we got. Aw, I'm a little bit sad about that.
Yeah.
But next week we'll be able to load up more, and I should have had that one loaded up ahead of time. A lot of operations right now at Move38, so want to make sure that we get our blinks in motion.
Have we played like the dice? Like games with the dice yet?
We played some. I'd like to play some more widgets games. You want to play some widgets games?
Sure. I don't remember them.
Let's see. We've played Flip Bet, Takeaway Dice, and remember our huge solve on Spinomino? That was pretty awesome. It was like a big puzzle. They had to connect the right color to the right face. It's played with the spinner, the rainbow spinner.
I don't remember.
You don't remember it?
I
Well, let's load up.
Yeah.
Let's load up widgets, and I think widgets is one of our most versatile. Let's see.
I'll throw honey in the hat. Still haven't quite figured that
Ooh.
one out. Oh, let's do honey then.
Let's do honey.
Yeah,
and we've got
here. We have honey.
So we've got 3 sets in front of us. We've got our core, expansion, and combo. And let's see.
This one's not turning.
Okay.
Oh, wait, there we go.
Oh, that is loading the game we were going to play.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Okay, so
That's honey.
let's load up honey. Cool. I actually, one of the things on our call this morning, so honey's one of those games that, thanks for joining, David and Lachlan. Awesome. Lachlan just got their developer kit today and got up and running. So yeah, it's so nice to see people, especially everybody who's in the forum. Let's see. Oh, but I was going to say honey came up today during our stand-up meeting because we do customer calls every day. And Ishmael pointed out that we've been hearing a lot more about honey, which we were always kind of nervous about. It was like, honey's this game that it's an idle game. It's designed to be played in a way that you create sort of an ecosystem or a machine that just kind of runs, and you don't need to actively play it. But it creates some really interesting and neat puzzles, and it offers a lot for you to dig into. So I'm excited to share more about this. So let's grab, let's kind of start by describing a little bit about honey. So in honey, all of your blinks start out as flowers. And and I should note, if you want to watch the instructions are here on our YouTube channel. But so each piece starts out as a flower, and this was inspired by cookie clickers, so or cookie clicker or idle games on the internet. And every time you click, a little bit difficult to see. Every time you click the flower, it gathers a pollen. So you can see now we've gathered 2 pollen. 3 pollen gathered. And so to start out this game, you have to click one up to fill the whole piece. And when the whole piece is filled, it does this sort of like, I'm full, I'm ready to evolve or give my pollen to be turned into honey. And so I'm going to hold it down, and it turns into a worker bee. Worker bees are a golden yellow. And the neat thing about worker bees is that when they're next to, let's create like when they're next to a flower, they automatically gather pollen, and then the pollen transfers from the flower to the worker bee. And you can actually see that transfer animation. Let's see. So when the pollen fills up, it goes and gets sucked into the worker bee, and the worker bee turns it into honey. And so that's going to happen until our bee fills up with honey. And when our bee's filled with honey, it won't gather anymore. And it'll simply do that. I'm full. Now I'm waiting to evolve or give my honey.
Yep. And so now the flower is ready to give more pollen. The honeybee's ready to give up some honey.
So even though the honeybee is full, it will it will cause the flowers surrounding it to generate pollen. So we've got worker bees and flowers. Let's go ahead and evolve our worker bee. Evolve one of our flowers. And so the stages are flower, worker bee, brood. Brood turns the honey into royal jelly, and then a brood can be turned into a queen. And the goal of this game is to get the queen as much royal jelly as possible as quickly as possible. Let's see. Between different jobs to optimize the speed, but I think staying with the original is better. That's a good... So I was just reading, Jonas made a comment here. And let's see. Yeah, I think that it's kind of interesting. You can set up these original roles. You can also move pieces around while you're playing. So like surrounding one worker bee with 5 flowers is going to fill that up with pollen real quickly. But should we try and do the fastest?
Yeah, and so I think we just try to find fastest route.
I love that when they all like get sucked in at the same time. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, they're like synchronizing.
Okay, so do you want to evolve? Oh, and also I should show, if you hold one down, it goes into evolve mode, so it will automatically evolve. So the little, each one kind of contains that little bee that wanders around. So
this is the...
We got a queen.
We got a
brood.
Let's make this one a worker bee. Maybe this one a worker bee, since collecting from 2 pollens.
I think I also might have just noticed an interesting bug. When you evolved your
It was already at 3 or something.
bee into a brood, yeah, it was already a high count. That's kind of, maybe there's a cool hack. This is like finding out that you can jump behind the scenery in Mario.
Or Sonic.
And like speed through yeah. I'd actually love to see somebody speed run honey. Maybe that's a thing. Okay. So let's go ahead and, so we've got, so there's one other thing that I think is really important to know here, which is how quickly flowers produce pollen. And so when a single bee is attached to a flower, it generates a pollen at 1 pollen per second. If 2 bees, so we have, I'm going to create some more bees. So if I have 2 bees on a single flower, that flower is going to produce pollen at 2 pollen per second. And it's going to alternate which bee it gives the pollen to. So you can see it goes left, right, left, right. And so we have 1 flower, but we're generating pollen twice as fast. If we had a flower surrounded by worker bees, it would generate pollen at 6 ppс, 6 pollen per second.
Okay.
So sometimes, so I think the optimum hive, you might initially think it looks like a bunch of flowers on the outside, but I think there's some nice kind of balance of figuring out how to create enough bees to really drive the system. There's probably some...
I should have done a bee here, maybe, and a bee here. Flower, because then this flower would be connected to 2, this one would be 1, this one would be connected to 2. Right now I have 2 flowers only connected to 1 bee.
Right.
And so this one flower is connected to two bees, but then these two flowers, yeah, only connected to one. And I could have done it where it was, like if I did it like this, then, wait, and this, wait, no. Wait, oh, maybe I was thinking, oh, and then it'd be here. Then it'd be two bees, two bees.
So you could prime that one to evolve.
Right. Yeah.
And then click it up to be a, there we go.
A bee, yeah.
Cool, so nice. So now instead of, before we had 4 pollen per second, we had 2 1 pollen per second, and then we had 2 pollen per second. So that was 4 pollen per second. Here we still have 4 pollen per second, because these are both at 2 pollen per second. But we're at 4 pollen per second, and we have 3 bees. So that process of, I think it's still going to be more efficient like
right,
this.
because the baseline's the same. You're still making 4 pollen per second, but there's more.
It's like you have more shipping crates. It's
yes.
like,
yeah.
My mind's clearly on shipping as we're getting all of our shipping stuff set up. But yeah, if there's a bottleneck in the system, it's going to slow everything down. So how fast? So we've got 4 pollen per second, high efficiency here. Our queen's filling up. You can see our queen filling up. Let's see. Let's go ahead and I think we should load up these with as many flowers as we can so that these can be real fast. Or sorry, like, yeah. But then we can also speed up these flowers by putting more bees. You should hop in. What do you think? We
probably need some more of these too.
Oh, that's going to be our bottleneck, is our brood?
Yeah, our brood.
Right. Yeah, let's make another brood. And it's, there you go. Cool.
Maybe another brood here.
High broods.
High broods, but also surrounded by lots of honeybees getting honey.
Okay. I like it. So let's go ahead and put a bee around this brood.
Yeah.
Oh, but that bee could probably be in a better. Whoa!
Oh, our queen got fed.
So when the queen celebrates, everybody in the hive resets.
Yeah, I think that we need more honeybees up here around the broods.
And check the instructions mention 7 pollen per second. But how do you calculate that score? Oh, yeah, great question. Or how do you calculate jelly per second, which is the end goal? So jelly is directly related to pollen per second, and then there's the delay of the transmit time. So right now, for example, if we want to calculate our pollen per second, let's see, these broods are gathering from these 3 bees. These 2 bees are speeding up.
Speeding these ones up, I guess.
Okay. So we can leave them there and let's calculate. So this one is 2 pollen per second. This is 2 pollen per second.
This is 1 pollen per second. 2 pollen per second.
So maybe this would be better here.
Yeah.
So 2 pollen per second, 2 pollen per second, 2 pollen per second, 1 pollen. So is there anywhere we could get those to be?
I mean, I feel like we would just maybe need more bees.
I bet if we move this bee. Okay, well let's calculate how fast that was so we can measure. So we were 2, 2, 2. 6, 12, and then 2 more, 14.
Mm-hmm.
So this arrangement's 14 pollen per second, and we have these 2 worker bees that are just helping speed things up.
So how much honey per second is being made?
Let's see. So honey per second should be pollen per second divided by 6.
If this bee is full, though, will this pollen just only go to this one, or will it go back and forth?
It only goes, yeah, once it's filled up.
So it's not divided by 6 because this one doesn't really count. Or nor does this one. It's not giving honey there anymore.
Right,
So
but it's still
divide by 4?
producing, because the worker bee is going to turn the 6 pollen into 1 honey.
6 pollen, okay.
So our honey relationship to pollen is going to be pollen produced divided by 6. And then our royal jelly calculation is going to be pollen divided by 36.
Got it.
And so if we're at 14 pollen per second, that means we're at a roughly 14 pollen per second. Means we should have, is that right? We should have royal jelly every 1 bit of royal jelly every 2 seconds? That seems too fast. Oh, right. Royal jelly, yeah. So every 2 seconds we get some royal jelly. But then we need... Oh, I'm not actually saying that correctly. Because, so the...
Well, you need 6 royal jellies before it can fill 1 in the bee.
Fill 1 for the queen bee.
Right.
Okay, so that makes sense. So 36, so every 2 seconds we're getting a brood a tick, and then so every 12 seconds the brood is going to be able to give the queen a royal jelly, and so 6 times 12 seconds, 84.
6 times 12?
70.
I know, 82.
Oh
my gosh.
72.
72, yeah. Wait, is that right? Yeah. 6. Yeah, 60, 70.
So 6 times 12, 72. So every 72 seconds, we should see the queen celebrate at this speed, roughly. I would say the only thing that slows that down is the transmission, and we've got a pretty low latency system here. I think we can get higher pollen per second, though, with this number of blinks. Let's see. Is everybody impressed by our arithmetic?
I zoned out partly. But don't we want to get royal jelly per second? Is what we want to increase.
Right. I mean, and really it's seconds per royal jelly.
Seconds per royal jelly.
Yeah. Is really what we want to
increase.
Yeah.
We want to decrease how many seconds per royal jelly.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so we want to decrease how many seconds it takes to make a royal jelly.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think I've told John this in the past. Like I'm so tempted to look at this and just do like a pyramid, right? Mm-hmm. Or to do just a cylinder going out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are those the most efficient ways, or are there more efficient ways?
Right. Like you might think that these 3 broods and then worker bees.
Right, like something.
And then if you double click alone blinks, they go back to flowers. So you can, so we could create like a double click.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
But, well, okay, so, however, I guess this configuration is not good because the amount in this case, which is slightly different than nature, the more bees you have, the more predator you have, the more the resources
Well, you could
increase.
the faster it produces pollen.
Or fast, yeah, right. So,
and the feeling behind that is pollen is in such abundance
right.
that when 2 bees land on a flower, it's not like it takes twice as long.
Right, it's just, okay, I see what you're saying. Because it's already made, they're just collecting it.
That said, we did not design honey to be a perfect scientific simulacra. That said, I think most of the design decisions are informed, for sure. Or at least take into consideration the general concepts.
I would say it's tempting to do like...
Let's see. David says, doesn't the arrangement affect the math? Moving a brood to the outer layer, for instance, would reduce the overall strength per second. Yes. So, yeah, broods, interestingly enough, are not so... they need to be next to the queen. They just really... They don't speed anybody up. The worker bees do speed up the flowers, but the broods do not speed up the worker bees.
Right, and I guess, like you said, it's just because we're assuming that the flower just like... The pollen's already there.
Mm-hmm.
By production of pollen, you're just meaning how much pollen is being collected.
Exactly.
And
how
so
quickly it's
there's
being
the
collected.
more bees that are there, the more pollen is being collected, which is why more bees equals more honey being made, because just more pollen being collected. However, the bees have to make the honey before they can... Oops, sorry. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Because each bee, it's like they don't already have it, they have to make it first before they can, or something.
Yeah, no, I think that's... Yeah. I wanted to GG that because I think it's... I think that's exactly right. Like, so let's count up... I actually really like this arrangement. It looks kind of like an organism with lungs.
Yeah.
So we've got 1 pollen per second, 1 pollen per second.
Yeah, I was thinking like bell-bottom pants.
It does. It's
Like
got some
head,
bell-bottom.
2 arms, body, bell-bottom pants.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I also see like some sort of flying. These look like wings.
Yeah, that's probably very true.
I like bell bottoms. So let's see. 2 pollen per second, 2 pollen per second, 2 pollen per second. That's 6. And then 2. Oh, and this one's 1 pollen per second. You can see we're getting the queen to celebrate quite a bit, so it's moving pretty fast. This would be another 4. So this is 4, 4, 8, 11. So this is slower than we had before.
I was going to say, I think turning this into a bee, and turning this into a bee would make it faster. Because now with these two, I have 2 and 2, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. All those at the same speed. Because it was 2 and then 1, 1. So I guess that might be the same
4,
speed.
4, 4. So we gained 1 pollen per second here.
Oh. I don't know if that was...
So I'm going to throw out something here. So I think one of our inefficiencies in this design is that we've got the opportunity to like use these spaces.
Yeah.
So like I would say...
Putting a pollen there, yeah, that would be more helpful.
And then maybe... So now this one has 3 bees.
I'd like to see more bees attached to the brood, though, maybe.
This has 3 bees.
Yeah. No, but it doesn't matter because we're giving a lot of honey to the...
Once we fill them up,
that's true.
then we're good. But in the process of filling them, yeah, it's kind of... So, like, we kind of... It's like overhead
putting
of
this
setting up
here?
the system. Let's see. Jonas says, if you take one flower and attach the arms, it would also be 2 pollen. Ah, yes. Oh, cool. Jonas was pointing out what exactly what you were doing.
What, this one?
Where you took the created more bees. My thought here is that
this honeybee isn't doing anything because it's not attached to anything, any flower.
Okay, so let's put it in the most useful spot. I'm also gonna suggest this over here. Well,
yeah,
and I don't think we need 2. I don't think we need 3 broods. I think if we had more blinks.
Well, I also don't think we need. I mean, separation seems to be worse because the closer things are, the more they can actually interact with each other.
Oh, right.
So, like, this pollen here, or this, that's going to be faster than it was alone. So being cooperative instead of separate is very beneficial. And then, we have this one here.
Let's see.
Which may be better as a flower.
Says, isn't the yellow bee at the bottom not doing anything since it's full and not attached to a brood? So, yes and no. It's not contributing its honey anymore, but it is still speeding up its. This is where nature does not follow nature.
Yeah.
So it's still upping the production speed of the flower, and so the other bees are benefiting from it being there. That's a great question. Oh, cool. And Jonas is on it perfectly as well. So this is looking cool.
Yeah, this one is speeding these 2 up. This one's speeding these 2 up. This one's speeding these 2 up. This one is
so we're sacrificing 3 bees.
This one's giving honey to these 2. This one's giving honey to this guy.
So I think if we can use...
I feel like it'd be helpful to...
I don't think we need 3 broods. Like, I think since broods gather so slowly, like, I feel like 2 is enough. And then we can just... In some senses, I feel like we could put, like, 6 bees around a brood and really...
I also want to say, see these... There's a lot of full flowers not being utilized.
Oh, these need to be moved. You're totally right.
Yeah, so the fact that we have, like, full flowers and they're not really...
Flowers definitely need to be attached to...
Utilized somehow.
Although... These should go to here.
Yeah, that's true. This one doesn't... I think because these 2 are already going here, so this one's like, I don't need to go to... I feel like this one of these
does
wrong.
not
I feel like one of these is not in a good spot.
Let's see if this one will unload. Interesting. Yeah, you would think this one would be unloading there.
But I think because there's already... there's 4 attached to this one honeybee. I feel like one of these flowers doesn't need to be here.
I'd pull this one off.
Yeah.
And then this is only speeding up this. Which I see. Oh no. Okay.
Wait, why would that be? Oh.
Because then it can also give to the brood.
See, this flower, it's been full for a while. Because there's 4 attached to this one, so this one's like, well, I don't need to go. So it's not being... I think it's because we have too many bees on it. I like 3 broods.
You like 3 broods?
Yeah.
You'll fight for 3 broods.
I'll fight for 3 broods because we don't need 4 around 1 bee. I feel like the 4th one ends up not getting used.
So this is 4
around 1 bee. It seems like if we have 3 around 1 bee, then they get used. But 4 around 1 bee, I feel like 1 isn't. It's just not utilized. Yeah, so like this one
See.
here, there's 4 around it, and I don't feel like that is helping anything. We got ourselves into a messy pickle.
A pickle.
Yeah. I feel like there's no order anymore. It's just like...
It's funny, it starts out and I feel like it's going to be
It's
super symmetric
organized,
and and then it's like, no, I think this is the most efficient. Well, let's see. We should get this.
These 3 are they just keep staying full and not going anywhere, because this one's not going. Oh, because this one's not going anywhere. So these, so this is not helping here, because this one is full, right? It gives to these 2 honeybees, which can't give to anything else, because these are not broods. They're not going to give to other honeybees.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that is not helping anything.
This does have one to give it to.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't seem
fighting
to
for
be
my
doing
broods.
You're fighting for your broods?
Yeah, see, I just put the honeybee here, so then it's 2 flowers here. I don't know. To feed into, so now it's 2 feeding into this brood, 2 honeys feeding into this brood, 2 honeybees feeding into this brood. And we don't have just, see, and this one is just sitting there.
So let's take a look
like
at
I said, when there's 4 around 1 bee, this bee doesn't seem to be utilizing one of them. So I would say this doesn't seem right.
So go ahead and get that on into a place that, and then let's count our pollen per second.
Yeah.
I think there's only places with 1 pollen per second placement. No, that doesn't.
No, I know.
Okay.
Sure.
So, we've got 2 pollen per second, 1 pollen per second, 2, 2. So it's 6, 7. 4 pollen per second. That's 11.
11.
3 pollen per second.
13. Oh,
14.
14.
And 1 pollen per second.
14.
15, I think. So we had 11 plus 3 plus 1. 15. So we're at 15 pollen per second. That's the fastest we've got so far.
Okay. So we have 15 pollen per second. And then we have how much honey or royal jelly per second?
We could roughly say that we're getting a royal jelly to the queen every, let's see, 50. It doesn't really change it so much. We're at 14 pollen per second, 15 pollen per second. But we're seeing the queen get a royal jelly roughly every 12 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny. I'm watching the time, and we're past our 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think that's the kind of thing I like about honey.
Yeah, you just kind of play around.
Yeah, and it's the system that you can just kind of, and when you get it set up, and the idea was that you just kind of leave it on your desk and you let it, you just kind of let it run almost like a Pomodoro timer, and every certain amount of time the queen celebrates. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me. And so, we hadn't touched one for a while. But I like that you can kind of just sort of like think through and keep.
Yeah.
It's very much a, Minecraft-like, just kind of explore experience.
And I guess what makes it a little bit more interesting in the formations is the fact that just in that one step, that more bees around a pollen make the pollen produce faster. That makes it so then you're not just left with like a pyramid.
Right.
Or like, I feel like that helps make it a little bit more interesting. Although it is.
What's a pyramid? Do you want to try a pyramid real quickly? Let's do it. Let's build a pyramid on our way out.
Yeah. You can talk all.
Yeah, I showed this off yesterday, or on our live stream on Tuesday. The very first colorful sushi roll cases. This is from our first Kickstarter for all the people who volunteered to wait on their packages. we're going to be sending these out next week, all the orange and black sushi roll cases. And then we're getting ready to produce the new colorful ones for the current Kickstarter. And they look really beautiful, so really excited to share those as we get those in as well.
This is kind of like a pyramid. Oh wait, but these aren't going anywhere.
They got nowhere to give their...
Yeah. So... Oops, I'm going to hold on. So maybe it's like...
Yeah, I think you're going to have kind of like a fan with this many.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I guess you could put those on the outside.
Although in this case, we maybe turn these into bees to make these ones faster.
Yep, I like that. Oh, that's cool. Kind of looks like a lander. Like if we puts it like
it does, yeah.
Is that, this is. Should we check? We should check how fast this is.
Wait. So okay. So really quick. 2. Oh, because this one is 3. I wonder if I should put this here so this one is 2. I don't know. We'll see what that is.
So 1 pollen per second, 3 pollen per second, 3 pollen per second, 1 pollen per second.
15. What about...
Wow. 3 pollen per second.
3.
3. So that's 9. 2. 13. 15 again.
Oh, 15 is 8.
Let's see. 4. 4, 8.
What if we do this? Sorry, really quick. What if we go like this?
Let's see.
Oh, duh, but then they don't.
Flowers.
Yes, but they just make it faster. Oh, great.
We want to get in there. Okay. Oh, yeah, I like that. Okay. 3, 3, that's 9. Those are all plus 8, 17 pollen per second.
17.
Okay.
But.
Ooh, David asks, what about having 2 queens? You can have 2 queens. A competitive version of honey is we can also compete to... Oh, I never thought about this. We could have 2 queens in the same hive, and we could compete. One of the queens could be your queen, the other one my queen.
And whoever is getting honey faster.
Yeah, shared resources, but...
Yeah, and that's more competitive hive competitions.
That's cool. All right. We could do this for hours.
Yeah. Okay, we're done.
Thanks for joining us on our live stream today. Couple of reminders. We've got our backer kit survey for all of our Kickstarter backers. It's going to be going out next week. We're preparing all the materials for developer kits and our updated developer tools, which we're going to be sharing information on. I'll also share updates on all the proofs of the new packaging and yeah, lots of back and forth with our factory this week. Let's see. If you don't have your own set of links, you can get them at move38.com. There's still a pre-order with discounts available for the new community set. And check out the forum. You don't need to have developer kit or blinks to join the forum. And it's a lot of activity in there, some really cool games popping up. And next week, we'll play some games from the forum.
Cool.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody, for joining.